And welcome to the Board of Trustees, Village of Monroe Board Meeting. If we can all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome, everybody, for coming in tonight. Appreciate it. You've got your exits to the rear, off to the right. Off to the races. First order of business, I'd like to get a roll call. Trustee Berenger,
Berenger's present.
Trustee Farrar,
Ferraro here.
Trustee Carl, absent. Did he leave a note? He had to bring a note back, right? Trustee O'Connor?
O'Connor here.
Okay, Dwyer here, so thank you. Okay, next order of business are the department reports. I need a motion to accept the department reports as submitted by the clerk upon the department heads.
Ferraro, make the motion.
Berenger will second.
Discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business is the approval of the meeting minutes for the meeting on May 7, 2024. I need a motion to accept them as submitted by the clerk.
O'Connor will make the motion.
Ferraro, second.
Discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Thank you. Just gonna make a note here. Okay, next order of business is the budget transfers and modifications. I need a motion to accept them as submitted by the treasurer.
Berenger will make the motion.
Ferraro, second.
Any discussion?
No.
I just wanted to check one thing. Okay, so that was a credit, street lighting, okay, that was a credit. Okay. Okay, good, so we had a first and second, further discussion, no? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business is the DPW seasonal labor. I'm sorry. Stand by a moment, I'm sorry.
Need it?
You want me to read it?
You just want this?
Yeah. I was
Just read.
Yeah. all right. Okay, resolve the Board of Trustees approves the appointment of Ryan Farley of 49 Wedgewood Drive, Goshen, New York, 10924, to the position of seasonal laborer. Pre-approval for his appointment has been received from Orange County Department of Civil Service, and his appointment is effective June 26, 2024, at a rate of $20 per hour. I need a motion to accept this appointment.
O'Connor will make the motion.
Second,
Ferraro, second.
discussion, call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you.
You have the rest.
You know what I'm looking for? I'm just trying to get back to zero here. This is getting me back to, no, I do that. I want to go back to my,
Drive.
yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, no, click up the corner.
up
Get rid
there,
of it.
got it, okay. Thank you very much. We got that, okay. Okay, next order of business is the Village Hall seasonal intern. Trustee O'Connor.
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees approves the appointment of Jaylene Balsica, 18 DeAngelis Drive, Monroe, New York, 10950, to the position of seasonal intern. Pre-approval has been received from the Orange County Department of Civil Service. Ms. Balsica will be paid at an hourly rate of $18 per hour. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
Ferraro, second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Next order of business is a Village Hall seasonal intern, Emily Israedi. Trustee O'Connor.
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees approves the appointment of Emily Israedi, 30 Prestwick Drive, Monroe, New York, 10950, to the position of seasonal intern. Pre-approval has been received from the Orange County Department of Civil Service. Ms. Israedi will be paid at an hourly rate of $18 per hour, and I'd like to put that into a form of a motion.
Second, please.
Berenger will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Next order of business is completion of probation, Police Department part-time dispatcher Natalie Welsh. Trustee Berenger.
Be it resolved, the following Police Department part-time dispatcher Natalie Welsh hereby completed her probationary period. Natalie Welsh, part-time dispatcher, effective May 17th, 2024. The necessary MSD-426B will be submitted to Orange County Department of Human Resources, and I'd like to put this in the form of a motion.
Can I get a second, please?
O'Connor will second.
Discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. I have a question, Kim. So, I'm on my iPad, and I'm looking to see what trustee Berenger just read, and it's not here.
That's
That's
just
the
the
backup?
backup. That's just the backup,
Okay,
backup to this.
got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to paper. Okay, next order of business, the resignation of Yanni Hernandez. Trustee Berenger, please.
Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees accepts the resignation of Yanni Hernandez from part-time dispatcher for the Police Department effective May 19th, 2024. Mr. Hernandez is employed with the Town of Wallkill as a full-time police officer. The Board wishes Yanni well in his future endeavors, and I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
O'Connor will second.
Discussion, call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Thank you. Okay, next order of business is discussion on chapter 155A.10, property maintenance penalties for offenses, Justice Court. Counsel, can you kind of read us through?
Well, you asked me to revise the penalty section to make it, I think, more of a penalty for people who violate. I've given you two different options here. One, 155A-10, penalties for offenses, Justice Court, and you'll see in the email that I sent on 5/5 that, and then I think I resent it today. The code, I've just, first of all, section A, I've taken out the service of an appearance ticket only after the third violation. So that this means that after any violation, the code enforcement officer has the authority to issue an appearance ticket if the violation is not remedied within the time that he sets forth. Okay, so I think that was hindering things getting to justice court. I think the idea behind that originally was people should be given a little bit of leeway before they actually are hauled in front of the justice. However, it seems like instead of that happening, it's just allowed, people to be repetitively repeating the violation and never ending up in justice court. So that's a suggestion. You don't have to accept it, but I did strengthen that particular
A.
paragraph, yes. B, I simply took out, rather than not exceeding, the amounts are in amount not less than. Okay, so the judge has the authority to go more, but not less
Then,
than, right. The C would be in addition to and not in lieu of any other remedy. Okay, any person who violates, in addition to the civil penalties, you can also have, you can be, once convicted, it's an unclassified misdemeanor. And then D is new, the continuation of an offense against the provisions of this chapter shall constitute for each week the offense is continued a separate and distinct offense hereunder. That can also be for each day. I've seen it both ways, depends on how harsh you want to be. Okay, so again, that's a decision of this board.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna ask a question. So you said not less than, and I'm looking for not less than. I don't see those words.
So B, it should be the, 1, 2, 3,
The
fourth
250?
line down after village. It's underlined. So I crossed out not exceeding 250 and I put instead in an amount not less than 250 upon conviction.
We don't have that here.
That's on the email.
Yeah. She didn't transfer it over, okay.
So you don't have it either?
No.
This is the original law, and Elise made changes to the law, she gave you options on the email.
On the
Okay.
email.
All right, right, so what B has now currently is the original law,
Do you
So-
have the markup of the law? I also
It's on
sent,
your email,
my email?
yeah, today.
Oh, jeez.
because that language is also in the markup of the local law that I sent back on May 5th.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
let's see if I can,
do you want me to resend this to everybody now?
no, I just think I need trustee Ferraro to get me back to my emails here.
Oh, what happened?
There. Inbox? No? New message?
Well, I sent it to Kim, right?
My emails.
Did you forward it? No, I sent it to everybody, actually.
Let's do
Yeah.
this.
I did, I sent
Do
it.
3 fingers up. 3 fingers.
3 fingers.
3 fingers.
Are we
Do three
drinking?
fingers. Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, take it.
A second. Let go on.
Take it off my phone.
My drive now is behind like the little Safari thing.
And that was today, council?
Mm-hmm. At 4:23, actually.
Oh, yeah, I don't have it at all. My last email was at 3:58.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Sorry?
Let me just see.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
You want me to resend it?
No, she says she's got it. At 1:12, there's property maintenance revisions. Just following up on the email below, has the board considered this yet? Okay. So, 155A10, the code enforcement officer hereby authorized to issue an appearance ticket pursuant to Criminal Procedure Law 150.10 of New York State to secure the enforcement of this chapter. Then you struck, said appearance ticket shall be issued with the third notice. That's all been struck.
That's my
So-
suggestion, because I
To
understand.
strike
that-
it.
To strike it.
And then what does it mean when he issues a appearance ticket? What happens on the first offense?
Well, he would issue an appearance ticket if the violation is not remedied. And then he has the option to issue an appearance ticket for the court, to send the person to court.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read this again. I'm just gonna read this again and then tell me where I'm heading. So, 155A-10, penalties for offenses, justice court. The code enforcement officer is hereby authorized to issue an appearance ticket pursuant to Criminal Law, Procedure Law 150.10 of the New York State, I'm not sure what, to secure the enforcement of this chapter.
Of the, the criminal procedure law 150.10 of the state of New York. So that's the criminal procedure, that's.
Okay, so, this appearance ticket is issued by code enforcement. Give me an offense, just call out anything, I don't know.
Okay, someone hasn't cleaned up garbage in their yard,
Okay, 155A, 8.
and he sends out a notice to remedy, a violation, however you proceed. There are certain things you do before you actually then take them to court. So you give them, okay, you're violating section something of the zoning law or the property maintenance law.
Okay,
You have 10 days to remedy,
okay,
okay? And if you don't remedy, then here's what's gonna happen. Now, at the end of 10 days, if they haven't remedied, maybe he sends out another violation, he might give them a little leeway. I guess there's a lot of discretion,
but he could, in fact.
but he could issue an appearance ticket.
Okay, so let's just, and I'm just using easy math, right? So May 1st, he gets a call about a violation or area that's a concern, goes out, validates it, and violates the property owner.
Right,
Gives them a period of 10 days to remedy their problem.
right.
In 10 days, he goes back, he sees it hasn't been remedied, so now he comes back to the office and he begins a procedural thing called an appearance ticket.
You can issue an appearance ticket.
Okay, now when he issues the appearance ticket, that means he's gonna be going to court directly. That's the appearance ticket, it's for court.
It goes to court, and the court then sets a date for a hearing. The code enforcement officer and your prosecutor would prepare all the documents necessary for the court so that the court can take action. Now, the court's action, now maybe by the time they get to court, it's remedied. Maybe that does it. And because the point is not to make money, right? The point is to get the place cleaned up
Compliant,
and in compliance.
that's right.
Okay, so if they go to court and they have not complied, the judge has, look, the judge may say, listen, I'm gonna give you 10 days. And if I see you back here at my next court date and you still haven't remedied, then I'm gonna impose, bang, you know, $250, et cetera. Did you see these proposed changes, Ron? Okay.
Okay, so going back to my original procedure. So, May 1st, he sees a violation, writes them up, sends them a letter, says you got 10 days to remedy by law.
You have 10 days to remedy.
By law.
Well, it's up to the code enforcement officer to set the date, the time they have to remedy.
Well, how do we come up
Sometimes
with
10 days is, that's just an example.
Oh, I'm asking, what is the law? So I'm
There is
asking,
no law in terms of how long it takes to remedy.
He has the ability to.
He has the discretion to say
5 days, 3
5
days, 7
3
days.
2 weeks, a month.
Okay.
Depending on the violation, it may
Okay.
be something that, you know, you have, your porch is falling off your house. You know, it may take longer than 2 weeks to remedy that.
Right.
He may come back in 2 weeks and the guy
Okay.
is like, I can't, you know, so there's a lot of discretion.
but after that happens, and they get the appearance ticket, they're going to court,
They go to court.
okay? While they're going to court, we go into B.
Right.
B is about the civil penalty, so now they're in court. In addition to, and not in lieu of, any other remedy, any person failing to comply with the lawful order pursuant to this chapter, or committing an offense against any provision of this chapter, I'm sorry,
In addition to the cost of remedy imposed by the village board, shall be issued an appearance ticket to appear before the village magistrate and be subject to a civil penalty enforceable and collectible by the village in an amount not less than, rather than, okay, $250 upon the first conviction for the first offense. So they have to be convicted. The judge has to say, you're guilty, okay? 500 upon second offense in the year within 12 months. And 1,000, I've increased the penalties you'll see there, for any further subsequent offense committed in the 12-month period. Okay? A copy of the appearance ticket accompanied by an affidavit of service, all supporting documentation shall be delivered to the Justice Court Clerk prior to the appearance date. Of course, it has to be delivered, because the court is gonna set the appearance date. Okay?
And the clock starts at the ticket, when the ticket is first?
Well, the
Issued?
clock to remedy starts when the violation is issued. And what happens then is the code enforcement officer sends it to the court, or the prosecutor does, and says there's a zoning violation, it has not been remedied, you know, I want you to hear this case. The court then sends out you know, you have a court date, right? You must appear on such and such date. They appear or they don't appear, that's a whole separate topic, right? But if they appear, then the code enforcement officer presents the case. The defendant gets to say, well, I mean, there's a couple of things going on here, right? Civil penalties are one thing. Once you have criminal penalties, then the person who appears before the justice court has to be arraigned. and cannot be arraigned unless unless the person has an attorney. So, for example, in my court, if I get zoning violations and they fail to appear, okay, I issue a criminal summons, and that gets delivered by a police officer, and I make sure my date to appear is my criminal calendar, where I always have legal aid there. So that if the violator appears and he or she does not have an attorney, I can arraign, because I can have legal aid stand in for the arraignment purpose only. Okay, so I mean, but your court will know all of that. That's just how I proceed in my court. I don't know how your court proceeds, but that's how I do it in my court. Because sometimes it's really hard to get people to show up.
Yep.
So that's why I have the alternative language here. So if you go down to the alternative language, which actually replaces B and C.
Places the what?
It actually replaces B and C. So the alternative language combines, it just makes it a criminal offense. Okay, so,
Wow.
so you would have, so instead of B, which is a civil, you have B, which is penalty, just penalty. In addition to and not in lieu of any other remedy, any person who violates any provision of this chapter, or who violates or fails to comply with any lawful order promulgated hereunder, shall be guilty of a violation, and for a first conviction thereof, shall be subject to a fine in amount of not less than $500 per day, or a maximum of 15 days in prison, or both. And then for the second violation, et cetera, so it escalates.
Huh?
So that includes that criminal language. And then C would be civil penalties and injunction. In addition to and not in lieu of any other remedies, the village board may also maintain an action or proceeding in the name of the village in a court of competent jurisdiction to obtain civil monetary penalties and compel compliance with or restrain by injunction the violation of the chapter. So that kind of contemplates going to beyond like justice court, going to like Supreme Court if there's something really egregious.
But it holds within the local court. This B and C also is applicable to the local court,
Yeah, well,
the village.
I don't, the civil penalties and injunction, that's more of something that would not necessarily go to the local court.
Okay,
If you
so,
want injunctive relief, you're probably gonna go to civil court. But I think the penalty section for justice court,
so that B is the, where penalty starts with a capital P right there. That's B.
right, that would probably be B, right?
Now, at the existing B, it says civil penalty. Is this
Right.
considered civil penalty?
Civil penalty is just there's no criminal penalty, okay?
Yeah, I'm just referring to, there's a capital P for penalty under the alternative.
Yeah, that's civil and criminal.
So it's civil.
And it's civil and criminal because they can either get a fine, which is civil, or they can go to jail, which is criminal, or both. So it's both.
So the first option is the original B, which is just a civil penalty.
Right. But
And then-
also, in addition to that, C, you can impose a criminal, penalty.
Okay. So this is essentially the context of the whole local,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so what steps do we take now?
Well, I think you should consult with your code enforcement officer who's sitting here, maybe talk to him This may be something that he thinks is good, bad. He may have some ideas about changes to it.
Okay.
And then you would ask me to draft the local law with whatever language you're comfortable with, and you would modify your local law in this way. It would be a modification by local law.
So then the code enforcement officer needs to read it, get comfortable with it, and then we should have a discussion at some later date.
Yeah, I mean, Ron may have other ideas that are better, okay? And in fact, he may have ideas related to the entirety of this local law, of the property maintenance law.
Can you do me a favor and just check to see who's in that lobby there? Okay, so thank you very much. So that's a discussion we'll have again, and we'll discuss with code enforcement, and then we'll circle back to it, yes?
Yes.
Okay, next order of business, 5B, the amended fiscal year 2024-2025 tax roll. Resolved, the Board of Trustees accepts the adjustment made to the fiscal year 2024-2025 tax roll, reducing the amount to be raised by taxes from $7,610,780 to $7,609,725.02 due to the prorated omits and unpaid water charges of $357.39. The amended unpaid water charges is now at $466,532.43. So the amount to be raised by taxes is $7,609,725.02. Unpaid water charges, $466,532.43. Other charges, unpaid fire inspections, $600. Property maintenance charges, $18,019.98. Prorated or omitted, $1,054.29. Yeah, I think last meeting, did I read this out last meeting?
You did.
It's an adjustment. We haven't changed it, just an amendment to it.
Another one?
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion to accept them as submitted by the clerk.
Berenger will make the motion.
Second,
O'Connor will second.
discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. Next order of business is an amendment to the fee schedule of Chapter 98, fees and consultants. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees does hereby declare that pursuant to Village Code 98-1C, the municipal schedule of fees paid to the Village of Monroe upon the filing of certain applications for permits or other certificates of activities taken or approved by the Village Board of Trustees, Village Architectural Appearance Review Board, Planning Board, Building Department, and Building Inspector and Zoning Board of Appeals or Village Engineer shall be established by resolution of the Village Board of Trustees. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees has reviewed the fees assessed under Chapter 98 and recommends the adoption of the fee schedules attached. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the fee schedule attached and on file in the Village Clerk's office effective immediately.
Here's the schedule, it's on your backup. Flip it up. Get your, that one, yep. 6A. There you go.
Okay, do we have, on this schedule, this is the new schedule, do we have the old schedule, per se? Is it a big thing?
It's not, I have the old schedule, but there were, the changes that were made were the administrative fees for the property maintenance,
Right,
and we added the locating permit fees.
okay. Another one that was added, that you may be aware of, is the architectural appearance review, and I think that was established at $50.
Right here.
Now, it is mentioned in what I just wrote, when I just read.
But it may not be on the planning board side right now. So we have to put that in, so we can put that in. So it's a $50 application fee?
Yeah, I spoke with the chairman, and I think his board is in favor of that. Let me just see what the, Yes, it's actually architectural review. If you have an architectural review requirement for your planning board approval, you're going to be requested to file that, and that's $50. I'm just looking to see where that would fit in here. I'm sorry?
Do they, yeah, they have ARB approving authority, right?
Right.
So it would be planning board fees.
So you just have to do another line item in planning board.
And you can modify the resolution to show that you're gonna add that.
Okay. So you got that added in? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I read the resolution. Now therefore be resolved, the Board of Trustees approve the fee schedule attached and on file in the village clerk's office effective immediately. I had read this last week. I didn't have any issues other than the road opening, the architectural review that we talked about and confirmed $50 is what they want to go with. The board has no issues on the other end. Council, right? Good? You've read through them, right? Okay. All right, so I need a motion to accept the resolution of the amendment to Chapter 98 of fee schedules.
O'Connor will make the motion.
Ferraro, second.
Further discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Okay, next order of business, Play by Design Playgrounds. Trustee Ferraro.
Resolve the Board of Trustees authorizes Mayor Dwyer to enter into an agreement with Play by Design Playgrounds for the travel expenses, lodging, interviews with school principals, students, and head of special education departments, and the preliminary design of play equipment for Airplane Park in an amount not to exceed $3,000 to be allocated from budget line A 7110.2000 Parks, Crane Park Improvements. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second, please.
O'Connor will second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm interested to hear a little bit more.
Sure, what do you need?
So I'm looking at the 3,000. I know, are you talking to the students and the principals around here?
Yes,
Okay.
only the ones in the village.
Okay,
Yeah, we're meeting June 4th.
awesome.
Yeah, they're coming in, we're going to sit with the students, a group from each year. And then we're also meeting later on in the day with head of special ed to help us with the all-inclusive part of the park design. These people, Play by Design, did the design for the Warwick Park,
Yeah, I've
which
heard
is,
great things
it's
about it.
incredible. It is
Is that
absolutely
Stanley
incredible.
Deming? Is that the one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And they'll build it around, and hopefully we'll get more input from the public as we move along. This is just very early in the stages.
I think it'll be great. Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so we had a first and a second. Further discussion? Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you. All right, next order of business is the penalty waiver request for the Water Department, Town Water Customer 10027. Town Water Customer Account 10027 requests to have a $17.40 in penalty fee waived from her water account. The February 2024 water bill was accidentally overlooked and payment was not made on time. Resolved, the Board of Trustees approve or denies the request for Water Customer 10027 for waiver of penalties totaling $17.40. So, what say the board? I mean, we don't historically make adjustments.
No, we don't. Even though this is a small one, it's still a penalty.
Is it the first, I'm assuming it's the first time?
I believe, there was one other time, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2021 maybe?
But we had this situation before, and I was involved with it, and I
Oh,
never received the bill. I still got fined $75,
right,
which made absolutely no sense to me. But she said she overlooked it. I never received it.
right.
And I think I told everybody I had paid, the calculation was 30 years I'd lived here, I received 4 bills, so it was 120 out of 120. Yet, everybody agreed that I should be fined $75, which I never agreed, I never understood it.
Right, right.
You know, with lawful and thoughtful and everything, but, so if she's overlooked it, and this is the second time, then
Yeah,
I would say there's a basis for not waiving it.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so, can you give us a motion, trustee O'Connor?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to not allow the waiving of this fee.
Second, please.
Ferraro, second.
For discussion, call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Okay. Okay, and next order of business is the Crane Park shed. Resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the purchase of a shed for the Crane Park in an amount not to exceed $6,000 to be allocated from budget line A. That's 1A, right? It's not AA, is it? Yeah, I'm just asking. 7110.2000 Parks, Crane Park improvements. I need a motion to approve the purchase of the shed for Crane Park. And just so the board's aware, so we've had, several requests, including from the farmer's market,
Mm-hmm.
which is, a pretty big program here in the village. And then other opportunity for, I want to be able to keep the sound system in there. I want to be able to put tables, chairs, other equipment, so that we're not relying on DPW
Yep.
for everything that we need. It's there.
Where do we want to put it?
In the parking lot,
Okay.
highly visible. I've asked the PD to, when they start to coordinate their new cameras, that they set one up out there, so we have that for our purposes to secure the building. So it's just, it's another good
I
fit
think
for
it's a
us.
good idea.
It is, and we've, the clerk has applied for a grant from the county for a good portion of it. $5,000, in fact.
Oh, that's good. And then maybe
That's it.
eventually we won't have to always rent
Or go-
like tables and,
Exactly.
Or rely on the
Pay for it,
DPW guys to constantly bring the stuff back and
Right.
forth. It's right there.
Exactly.
sounds
Okay,
good.
Okay, so I need a motion to permit this purchase.
Ferraro, make the motion.
Second,
Berenger will second.
call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Thank you very much. So, that's the business for tonight.
Can I bring something up? Only that
Please.
we didn't get it on there, but the calendar is getting late. We're already a week, this weekend is Memorial Day. Talking about the Crane Park and the geese control, the goose control, this formula that we were talking about, flock-free. So we've spread it out in a test area. For the most part, they only saw one, but it's very early in the season, so we don't know how effective it is. But the thing is that we are moving along. It does take a while to take effect, so we should consider looking into purchasing the mix, so that,
Yeah.
because it's June already.
Yeah, I think
And
you gotta get in there. They're gonna start molting soon.
Exactly, so it just, it's getting deeper, it's getting later. So it's, for just the North Pond, where our biggest problem is, because that's where we do most of our events, it's $2,595 for the mix. And then added to that would be the spraying of it.
Okay. No, it actually gets put on the grass.
It gets it's a unique, there's towns in Jersey that have used it and have worked. What it does is, I guess the geese have a different eye spectrum than we do. So, and if you look at the ingredients list, it's like pepper and stuff, and it looks like when they spray it to them, that the place is on fire, and they don't go near it, and it's completely organic. There's not one actual chemical in there. No, it's all organic. It's 100% organic. So
Could you send me that information, because some of my other municipalities are having.
I'll make a copy of this for you, but
Okay.
this is all it is. It's absolutely amazing. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Is that it? Did I give you the right one?
So that really works, huh?
The different towns said that does.
There was a town in Jersey, what was the name of that town?
I have it
not
written down in my
Englewood,
book. No.
Ringwood? Was it Ringwood?
No,
No,
it's
down in
near,
Jersey by the bridge.
by the bridge. So it's completely harmless to everybody, and it just that the initial application, it takes a couple initially. So you have to do it, the $2,500 we're talking about is for 5 applications, which will take us through the whole summer months. It's called Flock Free. It's there.
Is that the quantity of concentrate that was required to do the North Pond 80?
Yes, this is,
So I'd like to make a motion, somebody make a motion that we purchase the mix.
Okay, Berenger will make the motion.
O'Connor will second.
Okay, call the question.
Berenger, aye.
for ROI.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried, thank you, appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, so I'll put that, I'll take care of that tomorrow. I'll contact
Okay,
them.
Clerk will. Okay,
Thank you.
very good.
I had one thing.
Please.
Yeah, so the Monroe PD got a grant for $157,000 from, I gotta get all the letters right, the New York, let me see, New York State, let's see, the Division of Criminal Justice Services, and it is to make sure, or to help them enhance their technology and equipment. So that was pretty exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, hopefully that they'll be able to use it toward their camera program.
Yep.
So that'll be a big help.
I'm good.
Okay. The only thing I'd have to say, I mean, we're out live. This Sunday is the Memorial Day Parade here in the village of Monroe, and it's a very special time here. And it's really important that folks recognize it and take the time and come out. When I was a little kid, Memorial Day was not about a barbecue. It wasn't about having beers in the backyard or anything like that. It was a day that my father felt that we needed to remember those that gave the final measure in the defense of this country and its works around the world. And that's what I lived by all my life. And I think it's critically important that people recognize that and acknowledge it by attending our parade on Sunday. Many years ago, the parade in the downtown of Monroe here, you couldn't get a standing seat anywhere. There was so many people that came into downtown. And it gave everybody a tremendous feeling about being American and acknowledging and being thankful and grateful to the American soldier, American Marine, sailor. And I think that's really important. I hope everybody shows up on Sunday. In the village, in the town of Monroe alone, there are over 10,000 people. And everybody should be out here on that day. It's an hour-and-a-half parade. It begins at Smith Clove Park. There's a step-off for 1:30, and it ends at the Monroe Cemetery, which the town prepares every year very beautifully. And then the Boy Scouts come in with the VFW 488, and they plant flags for those that have served. And it's just a constant reminder that we never forget. So I appeal everybody to come out, take the time, put the barbecue tools down, put the cooler away, and spend an hour and a half here in the village and recognize these individuals and our nation. It's the freest planet on the earth. There's a reason that is. So please, come out. That's all I got. Council, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, so I have a couple of items that we need to take up in executive for attorney-client. So I need a motion to go into attorney-client.
Berenger will make the motion.
Ferraro, second it.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
O'Connor, aye.
Dwyer, aye, so carried. Thank you, have a good night.
Okay,
I don't know why, but that camera doesn't look like
it is.
it is.
Yeah, it's right there, look.
Okay. I always remember a red dot.
That was
They're
the
right there.
old one, I think.
Oh, it
There's
is?
2 dots. There's, right there. No, not a red dot, a green, when it's
Green
on,
one.
it's green. When it's off, it's red.
You see
There's
the
a green dot.
I gotta ask you a question.
Are you kidding me or what? What the heck is the green dot?
Yeah, there's a green dot there.
It's mid